Welcome and thank you very much everyone watching this tutorial. This tutorial is about characteristics of public policy. Last time we have discussed about the fundamental notions and the definitions of public policy, and for today we will be focusing on the characteristics of public policy. Those of you who didn't watch the previous video, go back and watch the fundamental notions and the definitions of public policy so that you can understand the characteristics of public policy in a clear way. Let us start with the subject, and one of the characteristics of public policy is that public policy is complex and dynamic process. Okay, from where its complexity comes and from where its dynamics comes will be the point that we have to clarify. And when we say public policy is a complex process, that complexity comes from the involvement of numerous actors, different stakeholders involved in the process of public policy making, or based on the effect of the policy. If the policy affects different sectors of the society, then that makes it complex. Okay, therefore the complexity of public policy emanated from the involvement or participation of numerous actors who can be involved either in making or affected by it. Okay, because many stakeholders involved in the making of public policy, or because many sections of the society affected by the policy, this makes it complex. It consists of the contribution of different components. It involves actions, behaviors, and roles by different stakeholders, non-government actors and agencies, unions like trade unions, different unions. We can mention different unions, researchers, civil society, organizations, different types of organized groups of people. As you know, there are different sections of the society who could participate or are affected by the public policy. Okay, that is why public policy is complex, because of the numerous actors' involvement or participation. And its dynamism comes from the fact that public policy changes with time. It is flexible. The sequences of its sub-processes and phases vary internally and with respect to each other. Public policy, when we say a policy, it is not just a 1 year or a short period concern. It takes at least 5 years, 10 years. And within that time span, things change. Okay, and public policy should allow for that flexibility, and that character makes it a dynamic process. Okay, that is why we say public policy is complex and a dynamic process. Another characteristic is that public policy is a purposive course of action. Okay, it is a purposive course of action. A policy without purpose is not a policy. Okay, policy without purpose is not a policy. Policy has what to achieve at the end. Okay, what to achieve at the end. It is result oriented. Okay, it is not public policy is not random. It's not chance happenings. Public policy is purposive. It has a clearly defined, a predetermined ends. Okay. If it is a 10-year policy, then it has a it has a clarity of what has to be accomplished at the end of the 10th year. Therefore, that is why we say public policy is a purposive course of action. Another, it is of public concern or social concern or interest. Okay, public policy is not a personal, is not about personal or individual concern. What public policy addresses is public interest. We have said governments are formed to represent the public, and the general public will have a different interests and different demands and different needs. To address those needs and questions, concerns, then governments should outline plans, and those plans are called public policies, Therefore, public policies emphasize addressing public interest or public concern, social concern. That is why we say public policy, as its name denotes, as its name tells us, focuses on public concern, on social concern or interest. Public policy, well, another characteristics of public policy, that public policies are formulated and executed by the executive branch. Okay, in our country's context, Council of Ministers or cabinets formulate public policies in Ethiopia. Okay, public policies are future-oriented, long-time perspective. It is generally prospective rather than retrospective. Okay, public policies, as I have said, public policies, are long period. Okay, focuses on the future. Okay, they are a plan for 5 years or 10 years or 15 years. Therefore, from today, 10 years into the future, 15 years into the future. Okay, it is more of a prospective aspect, not a retrospective aspect. When we say retrospective, it is past, harking back into past. But when we say prospective, it is about future. Therefore, public policy is future-oriented. It is a long-time perspective. Policy making is a species of decision making. It is a set of interrelated decisions. Okay, it is an array of decisions. Decision after decision, decision after decision, decision after decision, and it is a collection of decisions that make up, public policy. For example, a policy of agriculture in a given country is a set of different decisions in the agricultural sector. Okay. Therefore, it deals with macro or broad issues. Okay, with big issues, not just one decision cannot represent a policy. Okay, rather, when we say health policy in a given country, then it considers different things into consideration. Okay, it takes different things into consideration, different decisions into consideration. It encompasses different decisions and then become policy. That is why we say policy making is a species of decision making. Public policy is concerned with the choice among alternatives. Okay, it is what government choose to do or not to do. Public policy, there are different alternatives to different alternative course of actions to address public interests or public questions. But government should make choices. Okay, you cannot make different choices at one time. You have to make, government has to make choices that can best address the questions of the public. Therefore, it is about, discerning alternatives. It is about making choices from the available alternatives, best choices from the alternatives. Therefore, it is concerned with a choice among alternatives. It lays down general directives. Okay, public policy is comprehensive. Okay, public policy is comprehensive. For example, a 10-year plan, a 10-year policy, a 5-year policy, a 15-year policy is just a general directive on what is to be implemented within that 10-year, 5-year, or 15 years. Okay, therefore, it is not about detailed instruction. Detailed instructions are annual plans. Annual plans emanated from the broad policy framework will be another phase of public policy, but public policy are general. Okay, public policy are general. It gives major guidelines and directions, not details. Okay, and another characteristics that the public policy guides administrative decisions. Every administrative decision in the government office is not arbitrary, is not random. It is based on public policy. It is guided by public policy directions. Public policy is based on expertise opinion on a general issue of public interest. Okay, public policy is not about a political decision. Okay, it is not a political decision. It is an expert concern. Okay, therefore, it is the professionals of the health sector who give their expert opinion and professional advice on the making of health policy of a given country. And it is the professionals from the agricultural sector who give us their professional advice and the professional contribution on the making of the agricultural policy of a given country. Public interest. Public have interest in the health sector, public have interest in the agriculture, public has interest in the industrial sector, the public's interests are uncountable. Therefore, to address based on priority the best interests of the public policy has to be formulated, and in formulating public policy, it is not a political decision, rather expert professional opinion and professional advice, professional contributions are quite required. Therefore, public policy is based on expert opinions, expert contributions, and expert advices. It prioritizes actions. Okay, there can be different demands, different questions of the public. Therefore, government has to act to address those questions, to address those demands. Okay, government has to take actions. In order to take actions, it has to prioritize which action should come first, then which one follows, then which one follows as third step, which one follows as fourth step. Okay, which one has to be accomplished in this year, which one has to be accomplished in the next year, which one has to be accomplished in the third year, fourth year, fifth year. Okay, it should prioritize actions. Okay, but therefore public policy is about priority setting. It is about setting priority. Okay, and public policy, once made, it is authoritative. It has a legal sanction behind it. Once pass through all the necessary steps and become a policy, public policy is binding. Okay, then everyone in the country will be obliged by the public policy that is approved. Okay, once approved, public policy will be abiding. It will be regarded as a rule. It will be regarded as a regulation. Therefore, everyone has to respect it. Everyone has to be abide by it. Okay, every institution, every organization, whether private or government, okay, every individual in the country has to be abide by it. Okay, has to respect it. And this is it's authoritative characteristics. Public policy is authoritative once approved. Public policy may be either positive or negative in form. Public policy can be positive in a sense. It can demand action. Okay, it can focus on taking action against something. Okay, when it is about implementing something to bring change, it is a positive. But when it prevents something from change, okay, when it prevents something not to be changed, not to do something, that we have said that public policy is about what government choose to do or not to do. When government choose to do something, it is positive. When government choose something not to be done, then that is negative. Public policy. In relation to the characteristics of the public policy, we can discuss the implications of public policy. What public policy implicates, and one is public policy is a significant component of any political system. Okay, when there is government is a political entity. Okay, government is a political entity, and that political entity has to make policy. Okay. Therefore, public policy is a significant component of any political system. Whenever there is political system, there is always a public policy. We have said in at the outset of the discussion that whatever form of government, it can be monarchical government, it can be autocratic government, it can be dictatorial government, what form of government, wherever and whenever public policy existed. Therefore, it is a significant, a political system cannot be a political system. Government cannot be a government without public policy. Government is therefore public, okay, regardless of its democratic or dictatorial pattern, tendency. Government is therefore public, whether it truly represents the public or not. Therefore, any political system, in any government, then there is public policy. Therefore, that is why we say public policy is a significant component of any political system. Public policy endures and evolves to respond to the ever-changing needs of the citizens its service. Okay, you know, the very existence of public policy is to address the ever-changing needs of citizens its service. The needs of the public 3 years ago or 5 years ago is not alike to its demands and needs today, and it won't be the same after 10 years, after 5 years. Therefore, public policy will always be there to address, to respond to the ever-changing needs of the citizens in service. Another point is that the role of public policy is to shape society for its betterment. Public policy always put its target on shaping the society for betterment, okay, for improvement, for positive change. Public policies involve improving the democratic and political capacities of the people. Okay, public policy in its very positive, okay, tendency focuses on improving the democratic and the political capacities of the people it governs. Then it is about promoting efficiency and effectiveness in the delivery of the service. Public policy, you know, because government is there to serve the society at large, then the policy that the government makes should make sure that there is efficiency and effectiveness in the process of service delivery. Okay, public policy should be participative and democratic character. Okay, public policy has a participatory and democratic character. Okay, this is arguable. Okay, this is arguable, but the fundamental principle, okay, the fundamental principle is that public policy, when we say public policy, the implication is that it has to be participatory and democratic. In a sense, those stakeholders who are concerned should be consulted, should participate, and should have say in the process of making policy, and you know, the participation should be democratic enough.